Okay, so before we begin, we all here to understand what goals are, how we can set the goals for ourselves. So take 1 or 2 minutes and write all the goals that you have set for yourself today, or for the future also. It can be, losing a weight. It can be, just not to eat ice cream or chocolates, to have a healthy diet, anything. To You have set your goal to have 90 percentage in this board exams, to have, to take an admission in science or arts or commerce in particular school or university that you have been planned for, anything that you have decided, 5, 10, whatever goals that you have. And if you're comfortable enough, you can write it in the chat box so that I can have a look on it. Need 2023, disciplined about what I eat. Oh, lovely. I think, okay. Increasing height. Ah, okay. Not taking too much stress. Good. I want to be more productive and better at dealing stress. Focus more on positive sides and control my overthinking. Lovely. It also, if you've decided to go for a walk in the evening, that is also good. Discipline in the day. Okay, that's lovely. So these all are the goals. Now again, take a minute and just think, are these really your goal, or you have been hearing this from the people or your loved ones, and then you are taking this as a goal for yourself? For example, you are observing your friends or your siblings, or anybody, those who are reading a book, and he or she is reading one of the, for example, Bhagavad Gita. So you are taking that book just because you've seen that person reading a book. You're buying a book, but just to hold it in your hand. You are not reading. That person is a reader. Are you actually observing another people and creating that as your goal? Or this is actually your goal which you're really willing to work on yourself? So losing the weight, is this really you want to work on your weight, or somebody's telling you that lose a weight, lose a weight, lose a weight, you don't look good, and therefore you're holding into that, and that is not your actual goal? And if you get the answer, please write it in the chat box. We often get influenced by people, that's true. And just because that person is doing good in that particular, in segment, and he or she is getting more of appreciation, therefore we take that thing in us and then we start acting on it. But that is actually not we are, right? I'm getting this problem while choosing my career option. Okay. But it's always about how we model other people. Now, when we talk about modeling, to whom you're getting influenced with. Now, for example, if I give you that, you're getting influenced by Narendra Modi. Okay. Narendra Modi has been very, very popular in today's millennial. They are actually getting inspired and influenced by him, but he's at a different level, you are at a different level. But the way you are modeling him, because you are getting inspired by him, you are just trying to see how is he disciplined himself in a daily routine. If you're looking to someone that they are reading a book and therefore you also want to buy that book and read it, it's good. But are you actually reading? Are you creating that space for yourself, that okay, now that I've bought a book by looking to other person, and I will read 3 pages daily so that it gives me some information and knowledge for the purpose that I've bought. So goals are something like that. So it's very important to know that whether this is actually your goal or not. To get 80% is what I really want because I know my potential and capabilities. But if, for example, if your mentor says that Merko iske andar 90% chahiye, I want 90 percentage this year, is this really your goal? Or you're just working like not investing anything of yours in that particular segment and you're working on it. And that is how the disparity of the goals, the disparity of yourself happens.
No, I think sometimes I have a question, Preeti. So sometimes we as kids or young people, we are asked to do something by grown-ups because
Mhm.
they feel or believe they know better, which may or may not be the best for us. So should we continue to take that as a goal? Since your question was, is it your goal or is it a goal influenced by others? So
Yeah.
then how do we account for those kind of decisions that we end up taking for ourselves, which are maybe largely influenced by others?
See, when you are kids, definitely we are always under somebody's guidance, and someone else is taking the decision for us till the time we get mature. Now, Once you are passing your 10th, so once now the focus is to clear the 10th, right? Now once they I'm sure pretty much of them, like many of our students might have targeted themselves that I want to score this much percentage because I want to go in science stream or commerce stream or art stream, whatever. In this particular school, they have been sorted out themselves very in a very better way, right? But now to go in a science stream, to go in a art stream, or to go in a commerce stream, it depends on the students interest. Now there have been many cases, many a time, that parents influence parents actually force their kids कि नहीं तुमको science में ही जाना है because I want to see you as a doctor, I want to see you as an engineer, I want to see you as a CA. And therefore this happens most of the time, that children end up getting into such in a such situation where they are helpless, and therefore they push themselves so hard into that segment which is not actually their interest. They are putting all the efforts, they are trying to convey this message to their mentors and the parents that this is not what I want to do. And what happens, the ultimate result is either they ended up failing into certain things, or they drop out, or they lose interest in studies. After certain times you have to speak about your your desires, your vision, your goal. And it's okay to make mistakes because you learn from the mistakes. So there is always a need to keep yourself that yeah, this was a learning, this was a feedback that I got because I did this, this was the result. Next time if I'm getting into it, I need to see what are the repercussion of it and what needs to be done. But yeah, many times what happens is when we are getting into in this anxious state and a little bit of stress before exams, this is usually happens that we tend to make same mistakes, or we know the answer still we forget because the pressure of not reaching to that goal, या मुझे आएगा या नहीं आएगा, या will I be able to make it or no, that is the major things that we go into the examination hall, and that actually gives a little bit of more negative impact on our mind. So now a major of thing is that when we talk about goal settings or time management, so when there are certain pointers when we talk about the goal settings also. So in a whole day you can set up your timeline when and how you would like to work, set a priority for yourself and what's priorities and how you can go to strategize it, but how much priority you're giving to what, that is more important. Second is motivation, right? What is actually getting motivated for you to get into that thing? Third is vision. Where do you see yourself after you fulfill this one goal? So goal can be happen, you can achieve one goal at a one time, but it's also very important that after 3 months or 4 months or 5 months or after a week, where do you see yourself, which is very important. For example, you're working for one particular goal right now if I ask you that, can you see the March calendar in front of you? Just vision that you have a March calendar in front of you, visualize that, and where do you see yourself after that? Once this goal is achieved, where do you see yourself? Or if you have set up yourself in that level that okay, March mein mera ye kaam khatam karna hai, this is my goal, this is my target to finish this thing in the mid of March. So what are the things I need to work on? What are the obstacles that are going to come? And if obstacles are coming, how am I going to work for the solutions? You don't have to get stuck into the problem, right? Now for example, you have targeted Shivani, आज मेरे को chapter 21 खत्म करना है, and by the end of the day, but somehow guests are coming in, or you are going out with your family for some functions, and you have to be there, you have to make yourself present over there. So how will you be able to strategize for that?
I might do late night or maybe early morning.
Perfect.
But will mostly do late night so that it completes today itself.
So you have the solution already. So there is no excuse कि मेरा काम नहीं हुआ. You don't have any excuse that I'm not able to achieve my target that I've decided for today. Now this is how you can reframe your mind. This is how you can, change the thought process, right? So after this is achieved, now where do you see yourself again in the mid of March after this is done? And you need to break it out. Okay, एक week में इतना करना है, दूसरे week में इतना करना है, तीसरे week में इतना करना है, and then the baby step will take you to the goal, right? Which I already talked about, that is a planning, how you can plan out to reach out to the goal. The fifth thing is determination, how much dedicated you are.
Preeti, so I have a question here. Like sometimes we have so many goals, right? It's not just one goal.
So when we see and when we break it into multiple things, that where do we see ourselves? Is this actually our goal? How is it going to benefit me, to me or the society, and for what purpose you are working for, right? If you don't see anything coming up, then leave it, so that you can work on another goal. As I said, you need to see that how do you prioritize yourself. This is the way that you can prioritize your goal as well. And if you can't see anywhere this going up, for example, if you have chunked it down and you don't see anything that is you're reaching anywhere in the mid of March, if you have targeted, and it's not going to serve anything, when we talk about goals or management or procrastination and everything, there is only one thing that work into it, that goals doesn't build intention. When you decide something, you are taking a goal on that decision, that purpose, that intention. If you have an intention, you will decide the goal on that. The intentions will always build goals for you. Goals will never build an intention. Now, for example, as Aditi, you have started this journey of Curious Sapiens with the purpose to help the students, to guide them through the career counseling, and what are the domains that they can get into it and how they can get into it, and XYZ. Now, there was a purpose, therefore you have decided to start up with this Curious Sapiens.
So when do you recommend we plan? Like you talked about planning the day. So do you recommend setting aside some time to do the planning also every day at night or something, or next morning? How?
Oh, yes, you can. See, it works. For example, I guess we all have students over here, so they can work according to their convenience. So they can set up their next day routine before going to bed, because they have the set of, because they have this fixed timing. ट्यूशन जाना है, पढ़ना है, जैसे आज मुझे इतने चैप्टर्स, इतना सब्जेक्ट खत्म करना है और इसको खत्म करना है 4 दिन में या 2 दिन में, and they can set up a routine like that. But when it comes to like for you can work it on like that way also. Okay, today when you're done with the day, just think about all the things that you have done. Just walk through the entire day for yourself and see what are the things that you have learned today and what are the things that you need to execute tomorrow. Because many a times when you are working or or doing some other activities parallelly, so day starts with a different thing most of the time. And if you have an office to go, so आप वहाँ पे जाके भी set कर सकते हो कि आज मेरा to do में ये चीजें हैं, and then you can work it on. But always see that what are the things that you have learned today, what are the learnings that you had, and what are the things that have inspired you today, and which you can take it further. When you just take a break, it's very this is for students as well. You're entering into the examination hall, or you're entering for an interview, or you are just executing something that you've decided. There will be a little anxiousness, a little bit of stress, a fear, everything that will be, because your body will start responding, because you are getting out of your comfort zone. You will get something out of that examination hall or whatever you're going to execute it. So before entering into anything, just take a 5-minute break. Do not communicate to anybody. Isolate yourself, maybe in the washroom or in your cabin or wherever you are, if you get a chance. Take a deep breath and release the oxygen. Take a deep breath and release the things, and help yourself not to get into a negative thought. For example, if you are working from home, for example, right? तो आज आप आपके रूम में बैठ के काम कर रहे हो, कल डाइनिंग एरिया में आ जाओ, तीसरे दिन ओपन स्पेस में चले जाओ, चौथे दिन go to some cafe and sit for a couple of hours and make yourself comfortable and work. Make a changes on a daily routine. या फिर वीकली कि हाँ आज मैं पलंग पे बैठ के खाना नहीं खाऊंगी, या पलंग पे बैठ के मेरे को काम नहीं करना है. I'm going to sit down and doing that. Break the pattern. The moment you start breaking the pattern, it's like when we are reading it, everybody have their own way to study. Few people have a way to write it down and study. कोई जोर से बोल के पढ़, किसी को एकदम शांत एरिया चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल जो लिख के पढ़ रहा है वो बोलेगा भी और लिखेगा भी, तो वो ज्यादा अपने अंदर वो याद रख सकता है, because he's more connected auditory and visually also, and kinesthetic also. So many times students are not able to remember. वो मन में पढ़ रहे होते हैं, they say I'm studying, but few of them cannot remember. So therefore we need to change it कि चलो अभी ये नहीं, हम ये try करते हैं, and that works.